Hello, everyone. Take a deep breath because we've got 9 pages of astrology for 2022. So there are a lot of things going on. The first thing is that in February of 2022, the US chart actually begins a Pluto return. And Pluto returns are marked by a lot of intensity and conflict and upset, and a lot of drama and a lot of things coming into the light that create challenges and upsets. And so, um, in Rome, when we had one of the Pluto returns, because Rome actually had two of them, in one of them, we had a whole bunch of leaders that were known for wild, crazy sexual escapades that were eventually exposed. And in Rome, not necessarily here, but in Rome, they were murdered. And there was a whole succession of those, which was interesting. And then the second Pluto return was actually where there was the fall of the Roman Empire. And so, whenever we look at Pluto returns, we definitely look at the way that they can impact. They impact economically. They impact a real shift in the perception of the people, and the people start speaking up more for different reasons. And they're usually filled with lots of controversy and challenges related to economic and political perspectives, which we can clearly see in our own Pluto return. So we're just in the first Pluto return, and I hope that America gets to see a second Pluto return, but we're going to dive into that more at the end of this particular cycle. But let's look first at the astrology for 2022. We start off this new year in a Venus retrograde, but don't let that fool you. We are going to continue to move quicker and at warp speed with all this focus on Aquarius and the revolutionary changes that are going to be required from all of us. Saturn is going to continue to spend its time in Aquarius all of 2022, and it will be forcing us to look at the big issues that we need to shift for the progression of the Aquarian agenda to be able to manifest. Saturn in this place will allow us to cut certain things back that have proliferated and overgrown in our conscience. Saturn sees out of a very critical eye and is ruthless and relentless in forcing us to cut back those thoughts that have become obsessive and that are growing, choking weeds in our garden. Simple continues to be a primary focus. Causes become more important, especially those that can combat climate change and the destruction of our world. It becomes more and more important to surround ourselves with those associations that make us happy and that have similar goals and dreams. It becomes crystal clear to remove those associations that are draining because our tolerance of stupidity is at 0. In 2022, we can expect to see great shifts in technology and a resurgence of the sciences. This will be catapulted by the new James Webb Space Telescope, which I'm so excited about. Saturn looks at life with a realistic eye and demands that egos need not apply. Those that speak from a place of spiritual arrogance will be finally silenced. Everyone is too tired to listen to one more word of rhetoric, and that is a very good thing. Saturn is impatient in Aquarius, and because of that, many things are now going to shift. To Saturn, it is simple. Choices either work well or they begin to fall apart. The hatred that has been the glue of those stuck in fear no longer seems to stick to important things in the real world. Such souls try to trigger anything to cause reactivity, but everyone is just sick and tired of the I won't say it. We are moving towards doorways of responsibility. New ambitions seem to arise, and we have the ability to structure our life in better ways that allow for more expression of this new intention. For many, the refining fire in the fixed signs is going to cause us to get more control back and use it in a more practical manner. Saturn is a key element in the year 2022. Saturn addresses our personal and professional immaturity and manifests as hard tests to get us to slow down and address things we have been avoiding. The only choice that Saturn offers as a doorway is to face the reality. We cannot be wise if we are unwilling to address the truth that is staring us in the face. The more dysfunctional our reality is, the more we will be required to change our tempo. Nothing is working as intended, and forcing things through will also not work. Advancements seem to move at a turtle's pace, and things can feel heavy. But things that move slowly are often built better and have more staying power. We will continue to rid ourselves of those people and things that are not really a part of our evolving new world. If something does not have a useful purpose, it is not worth our time and focus. Something is asking us to be more conservative, and the world may seem like a cold and dark place. Yet such times help us build strength and teach us to rely on ourselves instead of being codependent on others. If we don't like something, then it is up to us. We are going to need to change it. Jupiter is going to split its time between Pisces and Aries. Overall, this year is about a very strong focus in the winter signs of Capricorn. Pluto is in the last degrees of Capricorn. Aquarius is in last degrees of Capricorn. Aquarius has Saturn in Aquarius, and Pisces, Jupiter is in Pisces. Notice all the winter signs. Winter is the time to slow down and really address what needs to be done. The focus becomes what creates a great society, and it should be those things that serve the greater good. Jupiter will be in Pisces until the 10th of May, and then again from October 28th to December 20th. During these times, we will feel more intuitively inclined and notice subtle energy in a clear and concise manner. Luck seems to follow us, and we engage in imaginative and creative pursuits. Just be aware if we are also being deceptive in any way, and watch out for those feelings of discontent. Jupiter is in Aries from May 10th through October 28th, 2022, and then again from December 2nd through May 16th, 2023. I think that's right. And it supports us in taking the lead and demonstrating our commitment and courage. It will ignite those that are wanting more and brings opportunities to those that are willing to do what it takes. We will want to reinvent ourselves in some way. Newfound confidence can make us cocky and insensitive, so remember to check the ego at the door. Go in ways that show consistency to others and bring people in rather than push them away. While Chiron will be all year in Aries and Jupiter will be a part of the year in Aries, there is a burst of power and force from the individual level to get others to wake up and unify around global issues. These planets and asteroids show that we have fallen horribly short of our goals and that we now are more at risk, and we need to take more drastic actions to make the leaps that are going to be required from all of us shortly. Uranus will continue to disrupt all things Taurian and make radical changes in how we deal with money and relationships. This may make comfort a challenge in 2022. We want to be bold in our choices around money, but this aspect is really pointing us in the direction of innovative things that cause more long-term value in the world. We are caught in this web of discomfort until April of 2026. We might as well get comfortable with the bizarre and the unusual. In February, Uranus will sextile to Jupiter, allowing us to enjoy some fortunate events that arise because we are more willing to think differently. We may remove ourselves from those people who make us feel trapped and obligated. Regardless, change is going to be the name of the game. Neptune continues in Pisces, adding to Saturn's doom and gloom attitude. The Neptune transit combines with Saturn, and it feels heavy and depressing. After all, disillusionment is difficult for everyone. That is because what is being called out is the ego, not the soul, but egos love to fight and hold those illusions up. The illusions this year seem to be like pipe dreams. We see that when we ignore the basics of life in favor of wasting time on that which is yet to be manifested, the results can be catastrophic failures. Both planets intend to teach us moderation and caution. The focus will be on the dignity of others and the demand from the people to our governments and institutions to rein in the excesses and do something of meaning for the people they govern rather than continue the selfish tendencies of a few and the wealthy. That was a long sentence. Pluto is ending its cycle in Capricorn. Endings can be jumpy and plagued with making us deal with the final lessons that Pluto has been trying to teach us. I expect rather dramatic things to transpire. Also, the US chart is fully going to take a hit as Pluto comes back around to the exact degree that it was on July 4th, 1776. This is going to cause disruptions that can continue to polarize our society even more. The eclipses are in Taurus and Scorpio, making us address how we bring both financial security and emotional security into better alignment. We seek healthier self-worth and one that benefits all rather than a few. Happiness seems to come with more simplicity rather than more stuff. All false selves are going to be revealed, and they can radically alter our personal priorities and relationships. Know that these issues will be felt 6 weeks before and 6 weeks after the eclipses. So there is a partial solar eclipse on April 30th, 2022 in Taurus. There is a lunar eclipse, a full lunar eclipse on May 16th, 2022 in Scorpio. There's a partial solar eclipse on October 25th, 2022 in Scorpio. And there is a partial lunar eclipse in November 8th of 2022 in Taurus. The North Node will shift into Taurus on January 28th, 2022, and it will create a Uranus-North Node conjunction that will bring surprises in the ways we engage and interact with our world. We are going to be asked to alter what we previously perceived as our self-worth, income, and those things that are continuing to cause us discomfort. The Mars retrograde, which is October 30th through January 12th, 2023, is going to trigger new initiatives because such an aspect impacts the lungs and could bring back a bad wave of COVID for that fall and winter cycle. No, COVID is not going away. Life is forever changed, and the adjustment is going to be a challenge. So, this year, 2022, brings shakeups and upsets. New thinking is going to force us to broaden our minds in ways that can make us demand from companies that we work smarter, not harder. We are all in a refining fire to burn away those things that no longer serve. We are going to be finding fixes to bring ourselves and our world back into better balance. And some tough love lessons are going to need to be addressed along the way. The mystery of life is luring us into new depths, and at least that part will feel less chaotic and more magical. We will experience an expansion similar to the sexual revolution of the 1960s. Woohoo! And it will help us see people more as individuals rather than objects. As self-love becomes a path to understand and master within, how can we merge with others in a genuine way if we do not first know who we are? More balanced relationships become a trend. We are attracted this year to those that share our values and visions. The concepts of opposites attract has totally lost its appeal. This is the year of tolerance and more acceptance. We reach for a world with a more universal love and care. COVID is not going away anytime soon, and we are now going to feel the way the Chinese and Asians have felt for the last decade. They have been wearing masks in public to protect others and themselves from the illnesses and diseases that run wild in their country, and now we will be doing the same thing. Electric vehicles will continue to become the norm. Know that if you buy gas-powered vehicles, their market value will radically drop as we move into this new era. Tesla will continue to be a big player, not just because of the vehicles, but because of their technology, their batteries that they're creating, and their space things. The journey to self-driving vehicles is very real and is happening rapidly. Tesla owns the technology for that, as they are constantly mapping our world with their vehicles. Security software will be a big winner in the stock markets, and expect a brand new internet to come forth with much higher security. It will revolutionize many things that are currently causing problems for us because of hacking. Online games will also be a huge growth area and something to invest in. While crypto continues its massive gains with huge leaps in both directions, know that where there is money being made to this extreme, governments will eventually come in and tax and control them with legislation. While that will not happen in 2022, I do expect to see that shift in 2023, especially after March of 2023. Companies will continue to struggle with employees as more people shift towards a better work-life balance and will be less willing to put up with certain things that corporations have gotten away with for a century in America. It is about time that corporations begin to feel the consequences of what they have been putting the overworked and underpaid Americans through for too long. So, because the U.S. chart is in a Pluto return in 2022-2023, know that economic turbulence is going to be expected. While some will gain great wealth in this cycle, others will suffer because of the webs of political corruption, income inequality, and unfair issues related to immigration and women's rights. Whoever gets into the highest office in the land is going to be controversial and trigger responses that may be shocking to behold. I expect those within our own country to orchestrate perceived attacks in order to cause those homegrown military groups to react in dangerous ways. I also expect many prominent individuals to fall from grace as the truths reveal themselves and hidden corruption is exposed. Sexual escapades are brought to light and treasonous activities are irrefutably seen by the masses. Pollution will hit a tipping point and precipitate massive changes in laws and behaviors for production of things and the processes of waste management. Expect food issues to continue to be challenging and the supply chain will continue to be stretched to a breaking point. It will pull more things back into our country just to deal with the supply problems. Someone could make a lot of money if they jump on that train early. Just saying. Weather patterns will be shocking and the hurricane season will be one for the record books. We will continue to see mass exodus from the Gulf states to safer areas. I expect the wealthy to continue to try to turn America into a plutocracy as they try to consolidate their formidable control over massively unfair and undemocratic legislative measures that put our democracy at greater risk. Pluto is a dark planet as it finishes up in a dark sign, Capricorn, and I expect our own dark past to have to be addressed in different ways other than denial and shoving it under the rug. The obvious dirty secret we need to address are the issues of slavery, racism, bigotry, and greed. It is something that can no longer be denied, and I expect that one of the steps we are moving towards is reparations and making amends in a legislative way. Such things come about in a Pluto transit, though I expect to see that more in 2023. It is time to have an uneasy discussion about minorities and the repressed groups in our populations, including women. Those with prejudices are deeply anxious and afraid. They hold self-hatred that is irresponsibly projected outwards towards others. Shifting such levels of complex emotions will be very difficult and takes considerable courage and self-awareness. I believe Americans are all courageous and capable of such a massive shift. I know it is possible because we clearly started this Pluto return in 2008 and America showed its true colors in electing Barack Obama in January of 2009. I think we began to confront certain issues and we have been looking at race and the conflicts around other cultures with our engagements with the Middle Eastern countries. Know that all this begins in February of 2022, and while I expect to see seeding events around that time, the unfolding of this cycle will continue for a decade. Pluto moves slowly, like a glacier, picking up the rocks to later melt and dump in a far distant place. We are in a massively important time. Great challenges bring great opportunities. America is in a forced detox. The toxins are social, economic, stress, environmental, health, balance, and political. The disease has been diagnosed. It is fear. The healing will require confrontation and resolve to do what is necessary. The medicine will be a bitter liquid to swallow, but it will lead us to a new and healthier society. The world is changing rapidly, and we will be changing with it. Know that what this year offers is just the tip of the iceberg that we will see coming our way in 2023. 2022 is that iceberg tipping over and showing us what we have not been willing to see that's been hidden in the dark water. It has begun. We are all here for a reason. We are born for this moment in time, and I believe in the spirit that is America. I will see you on the other side, and we will all be very proud of what we accomplish in this next decade. Thanks, everyone.